Welcome, everyone, to episode 56 of the Golden Squeeze podcast. It is the Lawrence Taylor episode, the greatest defensive player of all time, in the main event of WrestleMania 11 against Bam Bam Bigelow. Rest in peace. But we're going to start off today talking about Money in the Bank. It was a good pay-per-view. It started off with the women's ladder match, which Wade predicted correctly. He said, and trust me, bro, he said that Naomi would win this match. And she did. I had picked Stephanie Vakir, and I was wrong. But what did you think of the ladder match for the ladies?
I thought it was very good all the way around from all involved. There was the one kind of clunky moment where they were trying to get the ladder, I think, undone or do something, but I mean, they got through that, and it was fine. I mean, anytime you have something like that, having to rely on a table or a ladder, that's bound to happen if that's the focal point of the match. So that aside, I thought it was fine. I understand they've got an all-female pay-per-view coming. Just unless Stephanie Vakir was going to win, I just don't. It makes me question even more the rushed title change they had on a Tuesday night episode of it.
Okay.
If she wasn't going to win the briefcase. Which it does to me. It doesn't make sense in most cases. It does not make sense for me for a babyface to win the briefcase, anyways. But with them hurrying up to bring her up to the main roster in her first match being the qualifying match, and then to get into that, I don't. Again, it just makes me go back and continue to question the hurried title change on a Tuesday night episode of NXT.
Yeah, but I told you why they were in a hurry, because they got to get her out of there so they can bring in Blake Monroe. They had to clean house. They had to clean house so they can bring in new, fresh female talent into NXT.
Have Blake Monroe beat her for the title. What's wrong with that?
Because you got to have a build to that, and they wanted to have her on the main roster. They don't want her down there anymore.
They didn't need a big build for a match like that.
You need a build. You need a build.
Was there a build for JC Jane getting the title?
Well, that's because she's just a transitional champion. She'll lose the belt next week. She's not going to have the belt much longer. For Mariah May, you want her to have that title for a long time whenever that happens.
I like I said, just going back, if I don't know how long this plan was in place, I think either considering Julia and Stephanie Vakir already moved up, Jordynne Grace has to be called up soon. And I think and I've said this before, I still think if they're doing all these call-ups, Jada Parker should have won they should have given that moment to her on WrestleMania weekend. I don't know. But I don't know when all these decisions were made. And then again, why not have Jordynne Grace beat Stephanie Vakir? That is 100% believable. Own their PLE. Why not have that title change happen there?
I don't know. I don't understand JC Jane getting the title, so I can't answer any of your questions. I
understand. I like JC Jane. And I'm sorry, when you have a spinning elbow or something to the head as one of your finishing moves, or a big discus like lariat clothesline, that is believable to me. I've got no problem with that being a finishing maneuver. But again, that happening with less interference than normal, leading to a title change over somebody who they presented as they weren't going to have lose. It just seemed very odd.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm getting way off track here, but I can't help but to wonder, okay, if you're rushing to bring her up, why not have her win?
Yeah, I mean, it just seemed like JC Jane skipped over a lot of people in line to beat Stephanie Valkyrie. I just feel like there's 10 other options that are more qualified.
And I think all it took was a slap in a backstage segment on the PLE to get that title shot too. Yeah. But all that to say, I think in the current character that Naomi is playing, full out the probably the top heel on the women's roster on SmackDown right now. I think perfectly suited, no issues whatsoever. I'm glad they finally gave it to her. One could argue that a few other times beforehand they could have given her the briefcase, but yeah, I'm happy, and I'm gonna hate to see Tiffy lose the title. Oh well, heels are meant to win the briefcase and cash in.
Why does it have to be Tiffy? Why can't it be Io? Is it because Io hasn't fought since WrestleMania, so maybe she'll never fight again and die with the title?
I just see Naomi is going, because I say Tiffy because Naomi's going to be on SmackDown for a while. She's going to.
Well, why? The draft, they announced today the draft was going to be after SummerSlam. She could still have the briefcase.
I did not hear that. But during some of the post-show stuff, they were talking about her stuff not being done with Jade and this and that. So that story, I assume, is going to continue on the SmackDown brand.
Fair enough.
That's why, because of the post Money in the Bank interview with her, she kind of alluded to that feud not being done.
I believe that Triple H said that the draft will be post SummerSlam in September-ish, first week of September, last week of August, somewhere along that time frame. I think I read that was announced today. So she could always switch brands, always get drafted to a different brand, which could affect who she fights. And I don't know what they're doing with Io right now. So, who knows? Who knows? Inexcusable not having a title defense in 3 months, or 2 months since WrestleMania, but that's fine. That's fine. It's only one of their main women's titles. Who needs to actually see it defended at any point in time? It's pointless. But moving on, let's talk about the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. And we're going to skip over some of the things in the PLE. But
we're gonna skip over Becky getting the title?
I was going to, yes. But we don't have to, I guess.
I thought that ending was great.
Did you?
Oh, when she made her put the belt on and then she promptly got what she had coming to her. No, the good stuff. I like that rivalry. I do. And I've enjoyed the mic work by both and the build up to it. So kudos to them. Both great wrestlers, and we don't have to go beyond that. And Becky using the old school pull of the tights to win. Hey, I love old school heel tactics, man. It's good stuff. I enjoy it. I like the bad guy Becky Lynch character. So
yeah, I'm just surprised that Becky is, I guess, in the mid card right now. I guess is what that would be, just based off the way that she'd been booked over the past 10 years. I'm now obviously she could be being used to strengthen a new title.
Yes,
the Intercontinental Championship, which
yes,
I'm fine with. I'm just a little surprised that she was out for so long, and then she came back to be in the mid card because she didn't need to be there. She could have stayed on the sidelines, but here she is.
And but I think the same can be said. Julia is going to definitely do the same for the women's U.S. title on SmackDown.
Yeah, but Julia is not Becky. I mean, Becky's has main evented WrestleManias before, so I mean,
No. Yes. I'm
it
not.
makes more sense for Julia to do it.
But I'm saying in terms of, it's just like the way Gunther elevated the IC title.
Does Julia have the power to elevate a title, though? Being so new to the main roster, we know that the main roster fan, she does have the talent.
She has the wrestling ability.
But does she have the notoriety? To really legitimize the title, you got to have some notoriety. I guess you could argue that Gunther didn't have that much notoriety when he first won the IC title, and then he got it. I mean, wrestling fans knew how good he was, but he built a name for himself along the way. So, yeah, okay, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, and Julia, I mean, just similar path to Gunther, been wrestling all over many years prior to finally coming this way.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I think both women's U.S. titles and IC titles are going to be in good hands. I like Zelina Vega too, but I think all signs are pointing to Julia getting that title sooner or later.
Yeah.
So, and is there another match I'm missing?
There was. Do we need to talk
Yes,
about
I thought the impromptu match with Dominic was good. Short, sweet, good showcase for oh gosh, I'll think of his name as soon as we stop talking. But he was on the AAA Worlds Collide broadcast when Dominic confronted him after that match, and
Octagon Jr.? Somebody on the internet said that Dominic was just relegated to only wrestling shapes since he fought Penta and Octagon, and
that's
I thought
good.
that was funny. But
Dude,
yeah,
Dom is great, man.
yeah.
So we had that one. Becky, was there another match that I'm missing?
Well, the main event, but we'll talk about the men's Money in the Bank first.
No. But before, okay. So that was it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So then we had the men's Money in the Bank match, which saw Seth Rollins win for the second time in his career. The first time he had the best cash in the history of the Money in the Bank gimmick. Can he top that? Probably not. No, you can't top that cash in. I don't think. There's no scenario with where his stature's too high now. People might expect it. I just don't think that there's a scenario that's going to be as amazing as that. That was perfect when he cashed.
I agree.
The heist of the century. It was great.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what he can do with it. Who is he going to cash in on when the time comes? Who's going to have the title? I mean,
dude,
he doesn't have a feud really right now with either of the guys.
I'm guessing it's not going to be till after SummerSlam or maybe at SummerSlam. Because
could it be at WrestleMania?
I'm assuming it could, but I'm guessing that they're going to do like last year, where the King and Queen in the Ring winners get the title shot at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And whether that be Jay, Sami Zayn, Cody, somebody.
They're not having Jay winning King of the Ring. I read an article today that the Usos are getting back together.
You sent that to me.
It's what needs to be done. I don't need to watch
I'm just
singles
so
matches
confused
anymore.
at what is going on here. It's like, because when they pulled the trigger and decided, hey, we're going to do this, the match against Gunther at Mania was a very good match. I enjoyed. I have actually been enjoying his matches more than I was previously.
Yeah.
And I fully expected him to win again.
Mm-hmm.
Or I thought at the end of that match, and by the way, 3 viewers were talking about, Gunther got the title back from Jay on Raw this past Monday. I fully thought,
spoiler alert,
right before like Jay was going to pass out, Seth Rollins' music was going to hit. And I would have been perfectly fine with that if this all 3 of them, and after a grueling match, get beat up and Seth Rollins pins either one of them. I'd have no issues with that.
You thought Seth Rollins was going to cash in on Monday Night Raw?
Yes.
No.
Yes. And the way that kept playing up, Jay's fought this many times and he's nursing this injury. Everything was setting up for it. But did you think Gunther was going to win the title on Monday Night Raw?
No, but
I sure didn't.
But
and I love Gunther.
Yeah, that's just not. There's too much money to be made there to have that happen on Monday Night Raw.
Did you see Gunther's interview afterwards?
No.
When they interviewed him, he was backstage by himself and via headset or whatever. He's like, look, he's like, nobody was back here to greet me when I won. He's like, I don't need any
because they killed Kaiser.
He's like that. He's like, I don't need any friends in this business. It was great. You need to go check it out.
Well, it sounds like that's even more of a way for them to kill off Kaiser, if that's what he said. Because he did have friends in the business, Imperium, and now we already know that Vinci's gone, so we haven't seen Kaiser since that whole thing that What's-Her-Face said about Charlotte sliding in, or him sliding in Charlotte's DMs. He's been dead since then.
He got hurt.
Is he?
No, like legit. He got hurt.
I did not know that. Is he hurt?
Yeah, yeah. No, look, I can't. I think it's a significant injury too, if I'm not mistaken.
It's possible you made that up.
Very.
I think you're just thinking that because you haven't seen him in a month.
Broken rib. He was written off TV after the match, has been out of action since, and that was on June 24th. Wait, what? June 24th? That's impossible.
Yeah, because you're just making it up.
Is that?
I think you might be looking at an injury from last year that doesn't exist anymore.
Okay, yeah.
He's not injured.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, that was last year. He's not injured. He slid in Charlotte's DMs, and then he got fired. But well, I honestly think that there's a reason why he said that, and the reason involves Ludwig Kaiser. To say you don't have any friends in this business. He clearly had friends in this business, and he's just trying to pretend like he didn't.
Well, of course, it was a heel interview, of course.
But that doesn't change the fact that he has a friend that has been with him this entire time.
No, but remember, they already ran that angle about going his own way and stuff like that. They did that a while ago.
I mean, they're still friends, though.
Pull it up. Pull up Gunther's interview.
It's his best friend.
And okay, we've gotten way off track here. We'll get back to all that. Money in the Bank, the ladder match. Okay, so Seth Rollins won.
I also first want to go back to the women's match real quick. Just real quick, I just want to make one point. Stephanie Valkyrie fought 3 grueling matches in 72 hours. On SmackDown and Worlds Collide and then Money in the Bank. So kudos to her. And also, there may have been a person who did in the men's match too. I'm not sure. But I don't know if you saw some of the things that Chad Gable did at Worlds Collide. That solidified it to me.
Every one of those videos I sent you, I was like, oh my gosh.
He's not El Grande Americano. So now I'm convinced.
Even though they had the same arm wrap.
No, he can't be the same person because the person in that match could not have then fought like 12 hours later in that other match. Couldn't have happened.
Did you hear what Michael Cole said? He's like, okay, I've got definitive proof. He's like, when El Grande Americano fought last week, his boot said CG. And I think Wade...
Did you see what he said?
No.
Did you see what Chad Gable said about that?
I don't think so.
He said that El Grande Americano had lost his boots, so he had to let him borrow his boots.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he
just
did.
Made that up.
I did not make that up. He said that he let him borrow his boots because he left his boots back. I'm like, I don't remember what he said, but he said that he let him borrow his boots.
Well, they're back to saying he's from the Gulf of America. If you haven't heard,
lovely. We don't need to be stupid about it. Let's just call it what it is.
It's hilarious. But hey, that suplex he took from the ladder, him and LA Knight, I was not expecting that. There's so many things that could have gone wrong with that. And with some of the moves that he did in that Worlds Collide match.
Yeah. Yeah. What I want, it's always been the workers' title. Let Chad fight Dominic and win the title, and then have a nice lengthy run. That's what I want.
Yes,
a lengthy run. I want a lengthy run, and I want him to fight every week. And that's just what that title is for.
Yes.
Dom's great. Don't get me wrong. I want Dom to have a title.
Yeah,
but he doesn't need to have that title. Give him the U.S. or something. That title needs to be by somebody who's just going to be the best worker in the ring. It's going to elevate everybody around him. Dom's not going to elevate everybody around him. It's just not going to happen.
Well, Dom is getting better and better.
Dom is great, but he's no Chad Gable in the ring. Chad right
I
now,
agree.
I could tell you on one hand, probably one finger, somebody better than him in the ring. He's great. He's good. He's getting up there in like AJ Styles territory in the ring. He's just very entertaining, fearless. Yeah. I mean, if he is El Grande Americano, then he's just tough as nails too. I don't know yet. I need more proof. I need to be demasked. But it would actually make sense to give. He's going to have to get demasked at some point. So let him fight Dominic.
I assume it. I'm calling this now. It's got to be El Grande Americano versus Penta at SummerSlam in a mask versus mask match.
I like that, but I kind of want him to go against Dom, since Dom's got like a lucha history coming from.
Oh
the
no,
lucha
I
family.
do too. But it
Dom
wouldn't be
rips up the mask and then he wins, but he wins the title. And he gets enraged by him ripping off his mask, and then he wins the title.
Or Dom versus El Grande Americano in a mustache versus mask match.
That's good. Or Chad Gable versus El Grande Americano.
Or what's the tall Creed brother? Have him dress as El Grande
Julius?
Americano.
Oh yeah, they really need to find a body double for Chad Gable and have that person be El Grande Americano, because that would just throw everything off. I would like that.
No,
but
that
anyways,
would be good.
Seth Rollins won.
Yes.
He should have a good run with the briefcase, being with Tsunami himself and Braun Breaker. I think that trio having the briefcase is going to be impressive. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good.
My favorite part of the match was Jacob Fett.
Yeah.
Did you hear that crowd?
Solo, but yeah.
Did you hear that crowd when he hit the pop-up Samoan drop to Bronson Reed?
Yeah.
Dude, he's just got such an aura about him.
Yeah, it's good.
And
it's got the presence.
He's like, I hate you.
He's good.
Oh, and just him and Solo, that's going to be good. And his moonsault looks so good too.
You love to see a big man do things like that.
And I tell you what, man, I am looking forward to some of these potential future matches with maybe JC Mateo versus Braun Breaker, or JC Mateo versus Bronson Reed. Like those, the crowd was getting pretty excited when it was those three facing off against each other. Now, granted, I know they're not gonna, Jacob Fatu is not going to be with Solo and JC Mateo anymore, but JC Mateo's an athletic big guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you caught, because I always look for Paul Heyman's facial expressions during these matches, and his face when Jacob Fatu turned on Solo was pretty good if you go back. And there was some guy when Solo hit the moonsault and started going crazy, there was some guy in the crowd going crazy with him.
Yeah, you just gravitate towards that guy. It's just hard. I mean, I'm glad that they turned him face, because when was he ever a heel? When was anybody even thinking about booing him? Never.
When he powerbombed Paul Heyman, when he first.
I feel like they were still cheering.
They've got a problem there too, because at some point they're going to have to give him the title, or the title.
That's not a problem. John Cena has it right now. He can easily get it.
I'm wondering if he'll get drafted to Raw. That
could,
but no, I thought everybody did well in this. Andrade looked good. LA Knight looked good. For a second there, man, I thought, man, they're actually going to give it to LA Knight. I thought for a few moments, they might let him do it.
No, they're not giving the title to him.
I thought they might give him the briefcase, but
yeah, no. I'm glad they didn't.
But no, it was very good, very entertaining. Like I said, that a lot could have gone wrong with that suplex spot, but it looked good. And kudos to Chad Gable or El Grande, whoever that guy is. And it was. But in all seriousness, to two matches like that in the same day, that's that's impressive. That's a pretty big risk, too, especially after watching the spots they did in his match earlier in the day. To just assume to have that much confidence in him that everything is going to go smoothly, to put
Crazy.
him in another match like that later that night.
Crazy.
So, no, it was very good though. It was I truly did enjoy it.
All right, well, let's get to the main event. So let's talk about this tag match. First of all, I don't know if you saw Logan. The big news from the tag matches was the return of R-Truth. And did you hear Logan Paul say that he had no idea that R-Truth was going to be in that match?
I did not.
Yeah, he said that on his podcast today, maybe yesterday, that they did not tell him that R-Truth is coming back. So it was a complete shock to him as well. But for those of you that don't know, R-Truth was fired 7 days ago, or 7 days before Money in the Bank. And I don't know how they possibly, it's probably the most, Vince did a lot of stupid things. But I don't think there's anything more tone deaf than firing R-Truth or not renewing R-Truth's contract. Fans love R-Truth. Can you name a more beloved wrestler in that company than R-Truth? I've never heard anyone say it.
No.
Never heard anyone say anything bad about R-Truth. Ever. There's 500 wrestlers. Someone said something bad about every single one of them. No one's ever said anything bad about R-Truth. Everybody loves R-Truth. Every other superstar who I've ever heard talk about R-Truth talks about how much they love R-Truth, and they didn't renew that guy's contract because he had been there for so long that he was making more money. That is unbelievable. So good for R-Truth, because if the reports are true, and I don't know what they are, we're just the IWC. We read dirt sheets and we love it. We eat it up. And I know that wrestlers hate that. I don't care. If the IWC is supposed to be believed, this was not a work. Him getting fired was not a work. He got fired. He knew his worth. The fans were pissed off about it, rightfully so. So they tried to reach back out to him. Nobody could get a hold of him. So Nick Khan had to call him up, and he told Nick Khan, I'll come back, but you got to pay me what I asked for. And you got to let me change my name so that when you ultimately do fire me, that I can be Ron Killings and I can be a serious character. So I'm not just have a comedy gag if I have to go to another company. And they said, fine. So good on R-Truth. He knew his worth. He was out of the company for 7 days. I think it's the third shortest is what I read, right behind Emma for 24 hours, who got fired and rehired, and the Boogeyman, who got fired and then 6 hours later got rehired. So what do you think about R-Truth coming back? Cut his hair, too, on TV.
I'm a little torn because, again, I'm still kind of confused because he said his contract was not getting renewed.
Yeah.
So, number one, was he ever gone from the company? When did the contract end? When was it going to end?
I believe the contract ended the day. So what I believe is that his contract had already expired. He fought John Cena on like sometimes they'll just give someone like, hey, you do this last match, we'll pay you this for that. And then,
okay.
Because they also said is that the reason why he got that match was because John Cena wanted to add him to the tour so the company could see his worth and that they would have to give him a new contract. And it worked and it didn't work because they didn't give him the new contract right away, but he ended up getting it.
And the fact that John Cena couldn't make that happen on the front end, it's
TKO,
true.
not Vince. Vince would have never let that happen. Vince would have never let any of this happen. Say what you want about Vince. He can be loyal to a fault. I just don't think that he would have left R-Truth high and dry like that. All that he's given the company over these years, I just don't see it. I don't see it. Maybe, but
yeah.
When Vince had his releases, even the surprise ones, none of them were like people who had been there for 15 years. Like when they got rid of Braun Strowman, he wasn't a guy, he's been with the company for so long. No one's ever said that about any of Vince's releases that I can remember. I could be definitely wrong about that, but I can't remember one.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then yeah, because that was one thing I've been confused about from the beginning. Like, okay, I keep hearing he announced his contract was not going to be renewed. So I didn't know if it was a matter of, okay, he was still employed, but they said, hey, we're not going to use you for anything else. And pretty much you stay at home until your contract expires, and they were able to renegotiate a new deal in the meantime.
Mm-hmm.
But I just I don't understand though why, if it wasn't a work, and all signs are pointing to that it was not, why would Triple H not just say, "Hey, just like last year, we heard y'all, we listened." Simple. They already admitted that they called an audible on last year's main event plans for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Why not do that there? But him saying you like it, just to enjoy the show or whatever. Now I know that there's that he didn't explicitly say it was a work. So you got to give him a little bit of wiggle room on that. He may not have wanted to go into details about exactly what happened for maybe not, maybe it's someone else's request or whatever, but I just thought that yes, the wording, whether he intended it that way or not, I thought the word choice was poor
Yeah.
if it was not a work. And based on what our truth has said, his son has said, it doesn't sound like it was a work. So, but yeah, I mean, dude, we'll see. It's just like, but me and you talked about this. It's like, okay, people get upset all the time about WWE, the age of the roster, this and that. And then you get rid of our truth, who, yes, he is fantastic. And when he's on TV, it's great, but seldom used. And it's like, oh my gosh, oh no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But these are the same people who are saying, oh, they're too old. They have too many old people on that roster that they're paying money to.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's true. I say it.
But
Their
no,
main event seems old.
But yeah, it's interesting, and and I saw too where I did see an article recently. I can't remember who it was, but talking about how this stuff like this disrupts Triple H's plans because he is more long-term based. And when you have something like this where you abruptly bring someone back and now have to create a new storyline,
Yeah.
with only a couple months to go till SummerSlam and I'm sure with this being the big 2-night SummerSlam in MetLife, probably a lot of that stuff's already been penciled in for quite a while.
You would think.
And so yeah, no, hey, all that to say, I love R-Truth. I just, maybe one day we'll get the whole story. I mean, it seems like, look at the Netflix stuff coming up. They're about to pull the curtain back for the decision to go with Jay to win the Royal Rumble and a lot of stuff like that. So, and that can go in. We can jump into that real quick. So Gunther wins the title back.
I think that signifies the tag team of the Usos coming back, mainly because we haven't seen Jimmy doing much recently. And I know you think he's going to be fired, but I think that he's not doing much so that he can join back up with his brother.
Well, he's been on TV. It's just
Right,
they
but he
haven't
doesn't
been
have
giving him a push or anything, and the crowd response is nothing near his brother.
But do you know the crowd response will be when they team back up? It'll be huge. And then it'll continue to be huge.
Yeah. But it's like you make that decision to have him win the Royal Rumble instead of John Cena, to have him open WrestleMania and win the title by making a strong character look weak nonetheless, and to make your workhorse look weak in the process.
Yeah.
And granted, for storyline purposes, hey, the big bad guy tapped out. I get all that, but I was genuinely shocked that they had that happen. And they had it happen on a Monday Night Raw. And you know I love Gunther. I like him as a champion, and I thought they didn't really do. He had some great matches, but I didn't really think they did the first go round of his world championship. I didn't think they did it the justice it deserved compared to his Intercontinental title reign. But man, a lot of unanswered questions now. Like, what do they do? I mean, that throws a wrench in everything. Because, like you said, right now it doesn't. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter if you're Seth Rollins, the championship is the championship is the championship. So, like, from the standpoint of how they're booking that stable, it doesn't matter whether it's John Cena, whether it's Gunther, whoever it is, as long as the title is around his waist at the end of the cash-in. But who do you think is going to be the mystery entrant into one of the King of the Ring qualifying matches? Did you see that? There's a mystery entrant that Adam...
So Rusev, Sheamus, who else? Who's the third that we know?
I don't know. I think it's either
Joe Hendry.
I think, personally, it's going to either be Kaiser or Dragunov. And either one of them...
I thought I saw Dragunov had a setback.
I did not see that. Did he really?
I think I saw that yesterday.
I hate to hear that if he did. Because when I saw there was a mystery entrant, I was like, well, with Gunther getting the title back, that could definitely be setting up either Kaiser or Dragunov winning King of the Ring to get to get the shot at Gunther. Both of those would make sense.
Yeah. I'm going with Joe Hendry. I didn't read the whole article, so I could have made that up.
Hey, 7 hours ago. Ilya Dragunov closing on WWE return. Ilya Dragunov WWE return update after 8 months away.
Am I spelling Dragunov wrong? How you spell?
Dragunov.
Oh, you. Okay.
Yeah. While reports indicated that he was spotted training at the WWE Performance Center in January, we've now had our first updates on the Russian star in a while. WrestleVotes noted in a recent Q&A that Dragunov was at the Performance Center 6 weeks ago, noting, last I heard of him was about 6 weeks ago now, and he was down at the PC. I don't know if he was doing anything inside the ring. I know he was there.
It was Wrestle Oops. They got me again.
Okay.
I got to stop getting taken. They posted 2 days ago that he had a setback.
Hey, I could... Okay. I'm going with Dragunov. Dragunov wins King of the Ring.
All right, I'm going
him
with
versus Gunther to open SummerSlam.
And I'll go with Joe Hendry. I'm going with to be the fourth.
No, it ain't happened. Did you see one of the other rumors, speaking of Joe Hendry stuff? His WrestleMania opponent is rumored to finally give Nick Aldis his in-ring return at SummerSlam.
Randy Orton versus Nick Aldis? Okay.
Because the last time we saw Randy Orton, he was RKOing Nick Aldis again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been calling for Nick Aldis to come back for a while, and I think the seeds, like Nick Aldis, they can't have a guy who has been a champion at every company he's been with just take that line down.
Yeah. I mean, I would have to assume that he was nursing an injury, which is why he's been out for so long. I can't imagine he signed up just to be an authority figure on television, SmackDown, for 4 or 5 years, however long it's been.
He's good. I like him in that role, though, man. Some of them, like, okay, they need to get somebody new, but I like them both. And
he could do both. He could be an authority figure who actually fights.
Yeah.
But you don't like it, fight me. And they fight. Yeah. And he beats him. And he goes back to wearing his suit. And someone else comes. That could be a gimmick. and then somebody else does it. And then Chelsea Green does it. And he has an intergender match. And it doesn't matter the gender. Just fight. Fight, Nick, fight.
Let's see. What else? I don't think anything else the fans went nuts for. Oh, the Devil's Kiss on Rhea Ripley on the ladder. They ate that up.
Of course they did.
And on the Worlds Collide, the double Devil's Kiss in unison, her and Lola Vice.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, I think no doubt Booker T would have short circuited if he would have been on commentary for that one.
He probably exploded just going back to watch it.
Did you see that thing I sent you?
Which one?
The one about Booker T getting home from commentating.
Oh, that's funny. Booker T and Queen Charmel were at one of the Pacers Thunder game. I think it was game 2.
Oh, okay.
And Tyrese Halliburton, being a big WWE fan, he completely marked out seeing the two of them together. So good on Booker T for being there. I just feel like there's so much going on in wrestling. What else is there? Or is that a good stopping point?
Well, the only other thing, a little NXT news. So Ricky Saints came out and attacked All Ego yesterday on NXT.
We're not done with that.
I had heard Ricky Saints was being called up, and with the way he lost in a very short title reign, I felt like, okay, well, this is about to be a Stephanie Vakir situation where the title suddenly changes hands. But no, apparently that's not done. The LFG winner fought and lost to Obafemi, but he looked good. He looked very good. Now, Obafemi hit a fall from grace, and the ref counted and said that, what's LFG winner's name? I can't remember.
The big black dude?
Yes.
Can't think of it.
Who was actually bigger than Obafemi.
Was he?
Yeah, a little bit. Stand by. There was a...
It's like Troy, I think. Something Troy.
Jasper Troy, very good.
Yeah, that's
it. That. Obafemi hit a fall from grace. The ref counted, and the ref said Jasper Troy kicked out. Jasper Troy did not kick out. So Obafemi did it again. and which I if I had to take a guess, the plan was obviously for the kick out and that Oba would have to use the move again, but he did not kick out the first time.
And he's green, so he's gotta learn from that.
Or I guess it is possible it could be a referee mistake as well. So, but
I'm sure it wasn't.
Trying to think, man. Another Ethan Page, him. I don't know if you saw the Fatal 4-Way at Worlds Collide with him, Javon Evans, and I think it was it Ray Phoenix, and Iguana? I can't remember who the other from AAA was. It was good.
That Iguana in?
It was not the Iguana match.
Okay.
It was it was good. That was a very good match, and he's one of the best heels, man. I'm looking forward to when he comes up. I guess one more thing. I know you're getting tired. It's late. It's late here. It's late where you're at. John Cena, CM Punk has been made official for Night of Champions. Your thoughts on that?
CM Punk sold out. I don't think there's any way around it. I don't know how much the Saudis are paying to have him there, but he always said that he wasn't going to fight in Saudi Arabia. So, and then John Cena poked fun at it, trying to goad him into saying something about it. CM Punk didn't. It's weird that CM Punk's willing to fight there now.
Do you think they could pull the rug on that?
Yes, I do.
I do too.
Yeah.
I personally think if CM Punk is in John Cena's last match, it should be at SummerSlam. And I think a good opponent for CM Punk, I'm sorry,
Brock.
for John Cena at
Brock
Crown
Lesnar.
Jewel would be, well, no, not Brock. I think this would be a perfect PLE to run back AJ Styles.
Okay. Maybe. I think it's time for Brock Lesnar to come back personally, but okay.
Yeah, well, but when I saw the CM Punk thing and I was like, he's not going to do that. Something's going to happen. They're like, oh, it's official. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that. So I
Neither am
think
I.
there's definitely still time to call an audible. That's going to be interesting. I wonder
It
if he
is going to be
does it.
interesting.
Wonder if he does it.
And I'll tell you what else is going to be interesting. How fast I'm going to fall asleep when this podcast is over with. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up before I die on camera from insomnia.
I'm
I don't
proud
think
of
I'll
you.
die
You
from
did
that,
good.
but I did adequate. If you like what you heard, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you on the next episode of Wake Up for This, the Golden Squeeze Podcast. Oh,